Hello. What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well and had a fantastic weekend as usual. If anyone is in the live chat, could you please confirm that the sound is good and that, of course, everything else is fine? So we can dive straight into the analysis with a pretty bearish weekend. A beautiful rejection of the high that we gave inside the YouTube update on Thursday, and also very good support. But before we cover everything, let me just wait a couple of seconds just to make sure that everything is fine. Sound is fine. Thank you, Kajus. Am I saying your name right? I hope so. Anyways, it's nice to see you. Hello, Jean-Pierre, as well. It's very nice to see you both. So thank you for the confirmation. Hope you guys had a great weekend. And with that said, let's dive into everything. We will start with the announcements, moving on to the weekly recap, and finally, the most important thing of it all, what we can expect heading into this week. So for the announcements, as most of you know, if you want to trade with a 30% fee discount on Bitunix, that's a lifetime offer, you can sign up with the link which will be available in the description of this live stream. And of course, if you want access to our imbalance indicator, which helps me give you these beautiful levels, support, resistance, but also the triggers, the link will also be available in the description of the live, so of this video. And with that said, for the weekly recap, well, overall, nothing surprising this week, just a couple of missed executions from my part. So last Sunday, if you remember, okay, I can add the plan first. That's what I wanted to see. Well, go on the lower time frame, but basically, I didn't like this load that we had put in on Friday. Okay, I will open the Discord to show you everything, but I wanted to see at least one more low going into Monday. Okay, so let's open the Discord. No, not here. Here, let's open the Discord. Even though we had nice volume on that drop, okay, so that was last Friday. Even though we had nice volume, personally, I didn't like the fact that we had deviated from my support, and that's why I wanted to look for one more low. But unfortunately, my resistance, which was at 95,600, got front run. As you can see, we topped out right after the live, and we got a very big dump heading for the lows, just as expected. At this point, of course, I was not looking for any long positions because it was too early, so I just went to sleep. When I woke up on Monday, price had dumped much lower, below 93.8, which was a very important level as mentioned multiple times. And at this point, of course, I just wanted to see lower prices, with the first target being $88,700. I shorted the exact Monday high, as you can see right there. This is the 30 minutes chart, as you can see up there. Shorted the exact Monday high, but I covered too early. I did realize this, that I covered too early. And of course, after this, we just kept on dumping lower until the yearly open. That was Tuesday. I was potentially looking for a long position because price was very overextended to the downside with 6 bearish candles in a row, daily bearish candles in a row. But still, when we got the drop, the deviation was too big. And of course, deviation was too big, so it wasn't looking great. And when we got the close, of course, it was below that low, so no long position. So didn't chase the longs, caught the short, but closed it too early. And then I took a break on Wednesday. I think I took the break, but we came back on Thursday. We gave you one level, which was around 88.6. I even gave you more detail that deviations to 88.3 were fine. Guess what happened? Exactly bottomed at $88,300, which was a 1 hour imbalance. We got a beautiful reaction, beautiful volume, a lot of imbalances. I took a long position. We even got a retest on Friday. I added to my long position, keeping my stop loss just below the lows, as I had said right there. I was keeping my stop loss at the lows, added to my long position, was in a very nice one. We got the pump back above the equal highs, which was my first target. And of course, at this point, I implemented a take profit one on my long at $90,800, which ended up being the high before a massive reversal to the downside that we are seeing today. And if we go over to the charts, if you guys paid attention to Thursday's update, okay, I did talk about this high. Now, before I mention why I took specifically this high, I will let someone in the live chat to guess why I took this high, because I do want you guys to understand maybe a bit more for yourselves why I took this high, for example, and not both of these highs. But if no one can guess, I will let you know in a bit why I chose this high. Again, that was given on Thursday before seeing that move to the upside. We don't do hindsight here. We jumped into support, bumped into the first resistance, and got a very big rejection to the downside. So with that said, I will let someone in the live chat try to guess why we took this high. I mean, it should be fairly simple. You guys know how I trade. But with that said, what can we look for this week? Well, we are still heading into the monthly close. The very ugly wick has almost been fully recovered. Okay, I also talked about this one on Thursday's update. I told you that this wick would get recovered. You guys already knew this anyway. And right now you can see we are moving pretty much to take out that wick. But we do have a lot of volume coming in at the lows with 2 4-hour imbalances. So just keep an eye on this. Personally, of course, I'm not interested in longing this just because, as I said, if we lose that level, anyways, overall, I'm bearish. I'm expecting lower prices. So yeah, I don't want to be looking for long positions here. I'm seeing people call for 100K. A lot of people on Twitter are calling for 100K. I'd give this a freaking 1% chance of happening. If you're still calling for higher prices after having seen a deviation of the range highs, I think you need to reconsider your analysis. But in any case, to dive into the levels, first of all, of course, we have a very big CME gap. Okay, so let's go on the 30 minutes. The CME gap, so the CME closed right there at $89,200. So we do have a very big gap of about $1,500. This one will get recovered in my opinion. So of course, the ideal scenario to look for the long, talking about the Monday pivots. Remember in the last live stream, we talked about the Monday pivots. Guess what happened on Monday? That's where I took my short position, by the way. But guess what happened on Monday? We got a Monday pivot. Okay, so we pumped into it. Well, that was after a big dump, so that one was a bit different, but you guys know I want to see lower prices. We got the pump into the Monday high and we reversed for the rest of the week. So ideally this Monday, I would like, for the easiest trades, I would like to see a Monday low put in. Okay, could be Tuesday early, but I would prefer a Monday low. If we can leave that gap behind, so now I can remove this level. If we can leave the CME gap behind and then drop, I think that would offer a fairly easy long position as usual if we have the reactions. So if price is able to continue down, going into the Monday open, then of course you could look for a low with the first target being the fill of the gap, once again, $89,200. Okay. So ideally, that's what I want to be looking for. If we pump right now and we fill the gap first, I think that would be even more bearish. Okay, so if we do something like this, pump first to fill the gap and then come back down, you could still look for the long position, but at this point, I do have to admit that would be a bit more bearish. So I guess first of all, I kind of want to talk about the higher time frame view. Once again, higher time frame, I am bearish. I'm expecting lower prices back below $80,000, also below $74,000 ideally. And as mentioned on Thursday, in Thursday's update, I don't even expect these highs to get taken out. I think if Bitcoin wants to push lower, which it will in my opinion, we will not break back above these highs. So for example, get a deviation above them and then come back down. I think if we push up, we will maintain below these highs and then continue lower. However, I do have to admit that this high also looks good. Even though we have a big wick on the 4-hour and on the 12-hour, okay, that's not a very pretty wick. I mean, I think this is a fine high, taking everything into consideration. I think that is a good high, and I will say it is also possible that we maintain below this one. So if you missed the short, Personally, I didn't take it because it was just heading into the weekend. I wanted to chill. I made good profits on the long, so I just decided to chill. But of course, if you cut that high, I think you have a decent chance of it holding. So that's the first thing that I want to talk about on the higher time frames. Let me dive. Partial fill. Exactly, that was a partial fill. I guess you're talking about the high. That's going to 30 minutes. What did you have right there? We had a partially filled 30-minute imbalance. As you can see, if I zoom in, partially filled 30-minute imbalance. That's basically why I took this high. And the reason why I didn't take these highs above was because, in my opinion, these were very obvious highs, and everyone that is looking for short position, they will take the very easy analysis, sweep these highs, and then come back down. So you front on the obvious highs, you fill the imbalance, which was partially filled, and then you get the reversal down, which is exactly what happened. And that's why, once again, on the YouTube update on Thursday, I told you to look out for this high and not for these highs. Okay, you can watch the update. I'm not making anything up. It's very easy to prove me wrong. But yes, we had a partial fill, and that's why I took this level, which was pretty much this high. That was the same logic up there. I got front on, unfortunately, but the exact same logic. We had a partially fill 30 minutes. We had these obvious highs. So in this case, since I was leaning more bearish, I just wanted to leave these highs alone, fill the imbalance, and then come back down. We came back down while leaving these highs alone. So the logic was fine, of course. I just got front on by about $100. So I'm glad that you were able to find this on your own. Hello, Nicholas. Do you think yearly open will hold? Nope, I don't think it will. I think we go lower. So with that said, okay, with all of this yapping done, I hope I didn't yap too much. Ideally, what I want to be looking for will be a Monday low. Okay. I really want us to go down without filling that gap because that would offer the easiest long position. Something like this. Maybe bounce a bit, then come back down. Something like this maybe. And then you could take the CME gap as a first target. That's the CME. CME gap. That would be my main plan. Now, I'm not sure if it plays out because, as I said, we could fill the gap first, which wouldn't be fun because then it would just make trading harder. What is happening? Okay. Oh, dude, what the frick? Okay, that would be the main Sunday plan. Jump into support, leave the gap behind, and then get that reversal to the upside. That would be the main target for the long. Main target. Okay. Now on the other hand, if we pump first and we fill the gap, again, that would be more bearish. So I would have to kind of come on the charts tomorrow and see if we still get offered a long. But if we pump, fill the gap, and then dump, that would be a bit more bearish. Let me see if we have any lower time frame resistance inside of this range. I kind of think we leave that wick alone. That's what I'm. Let me look at buying, Coinbase, Binance. Get this for a second. 1 hour, no. 30 minutes. You have this one. You don't mind it. I think this candle doesn't look too bad, but is it a big resistance? Not really. It's gonna be a complicated one to catch the short inside of this range, which is why maybe I should not have skipped on that short. Definitely should have given it a shot. How much is it down from the level? Wow, almost 4%. I think I want to keep an eye on this area for a Monday high in case we pump first. But yeah, if we pump first, that would be much more bearish in my opinion. That would be pump first. So we hold the yearly open, we fill the gap. I don't know if I'll be interested in shorting this. I'll have to find a bit more confluence. That would be a bit earlier on Monday. That would be my guess. Yeah, maybe right there. 15 could be an interesting time. I don't know. I don't think this happens. I'll have to be honest. I'll mark it out just in case, but I don't think this is very likely. Sunday, second plan, less likely. That's what I'm gonna call it. So that would be the ideal plan for me, would be this one. That we keep on dumping, we leave the gap behind for a fill later this week. And I think that would play nicely into the end of the month confluence, where we could close the month back into this range, in which case we could potentially look back for a pump up there and then a bigger reversal to the downside. But that's a bit too far in time, so I don't want to keep this on the chart for now. I just want to focus on what's likely to happen tomorrow. And yeah, that would be the support. So that would be it for Bitcoin, guys. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know in the live chat. I'm gonna keep this before we end the stream. Until we end the stream, sorry. I don't mind this one. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Let me check something. Did I delete my resistance? Oh man, I'm so freaking smart. Did I put it on another chart? Why did I remove it? So that would be it. I had an imbalance. Yep, this one. Okay, that would be it. Just above the CME. And that's the level that I would keep on my chart in case we pump first. Okay, so I would be done for Bitcoin. I got a question. If today it fills that below, is it a call too long? Like right now it's dumping. I didn't really understand your question. If you could maybe rephrase it. If today it fills that below, is it a call too long? I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. Very impressed by your analysis today. Do you think you had to get better because market conditions are tough at the moment? Well, of course I had to get better, and I still have to get much better. I'm not afraid to hide it. The fact that I literally was short from the open of this candle, and then I literally shorted the Monday high, and right now I am not sitting in any position. The analysis has been fairly accurate for a very long time, but my execution sometimes leaves a lot on the table. Whether it's this short that I did. Now this one was a bit different because I just don't like trading going into the weekend, so I don't mind this one too much. But yes, I opened a short up there and I freaking closed it. This one, I talked about it. I didn't mind closing it down there just because at this point, Bitcoin hadn't shown any sign of weakness. So I'm mainly pissed off about that short. I had no business in closing it. That was just a stupid decision. So You just have to get better, especially in this market where it's very, I mean, it's not super choppy. It is pretty choppy, but yeah, you need to have confidence in your calls, because when price broke above, every single person was calling for $105,000, $110,000. I talked about this in the YouTube update that everyone was looking for a move into $110,000, which was very unlikely in my opinion. So you basically had to stick to your guns, which wasn't easy, I have to admit. But yeah, personally, in the on the execution side, I definitely have to get better. Today is still Sunday. If it fills that before Monday daily candle can be long. If it fills what? I'm not understanding the question. If it fills what? If it fills that before Monday. What's that? Okay, so now let's move on into altcoins while you send a bit more questions in. Ethereum, we wanted to see lower prices. That was the plan. We got lower prices. Again, a bit of a mistake. I mean, not, yeah, actually a mistake, right? We had two daily imbalances. We had the second one, which was a very weak candle. That was a sign of a top. And when you get this, even though it hadn't reached resistance, which were still these two levels, yeah, that was a big rejection. Again, exact same thing as Bitcoin. Daily imbalance at the high, reversal to the downside. What happened on Bitcoin? Daily imbalance at the high. Now this one was a bit stronger, so that was a different outlook, you could say. But Ethereum definitely gave the heads up when you see a second daily imbalance with a very weak body that offered a reversal to the downside. So again, imbalances calling the moves. Can remove this. Ethereum isn't looking great. I don't have much to say. You guys know I still want to see this support revisited. Whether we pump first or not, that will be entirely dependent on Bitcoin. If I had to just focus on Ethereum, I don't know. I don't see any big levels on Ethereum. Just looking bad. With a voice crack as well. It's not looking great for Ethereum. I mean, you would have that same level, but of course, if you get the sweep of that high, that's when you could look for the short positions. That's the only thing I can say about Ethereum. For the long positions, I don't see anything good, unlike Bitcoin. But if you get the deviation above that high, you could look. The midpoint got retested actually. Was that the midpoint? Oof. To perfection. Perfection. Look at the midpoint. Take the midpoint of the imbalance. 3064 topped out at 3069. Wow. That was beautiful retest of the midpoint. So this high doesn't even have to get taken out. Yeah, Ethereum isn't looking great. It's not looking great on Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, I guess my higher time frame view hasn't changed. I would like the support to get tested, but as I'm expecting much lower on Bitcoin, I don't even know if this will hold. We could end up pushing much lower. So I don't see much on Ethereum. I'm just being honest. I would just focus on Bitcoin and kind of translate that over to Ethereum. Today is Sunday. Okay, the thingy box you drew. If it fills that today, man, I don't know. If we drop today before Monday, no, I will not be interested in the longs, because once again, I'm looking for the Monday pivot. So even if I miss it, let's say that, for example, we drop today. Let me go on another chart, just to not make everything super messy. Let's go on Binance. Let's say this is the box. Okay. So if we drop into it today, that's what personally I will be waiting for. So let's take today before Monday. Let me zoom in. Or it could even be on the open, doesn't matter. But if we drop into today, I will not be interested in the long position. However, If you see a good bounce, then what you can do is simply wait for the Monday retracement, and that's where you will be looking for the Monday low on the retracement to potentially take it higher. That's how I would play it if we dump today. I think that's just very unlikely just because we have so much volume, especially on the 4 hour. You can see even on Binance, we have two 4 hour imbalances. So unlikely that we drop today, but if we drop, I mean, I just outlined what I would personally do. I will not be looking for the long. I will be waiting to see if we get a bounce. If we get a bounce, then tomorrow I wait for the retracement, and that's where I will look for my long positions. But today, no trading at all. Okay. We can move on to Solana. Solana as well, crunch on my resistance. But yeah, we got the pump after. Unfortunate on this one that we front on this one. I really believe that this would get hit. But yeah, again, nothing surprising on Solana. As I've been telling you, I expect a break back below this low, so below $100, and ideally we drop into $51. So yeah, higher time frame plan. I mean, view, I would say going well. I got front on. I'm not afraid to admit, but I guess nothing surprising is happening where, for example, we are pumping through resistance while I'm still bearish, or we were dumping while I'm still bullish. I've been bearish for a very long time, and as long as I remain bearish, the market will keep on dumping. I'm joking, guys. So let's say we get that Monday pivot in my time. Asia session starts 7-8 hours or so. So if Asia session dumps, they're good too long. Complicated one. Asian session on Monday. If you don't mind, there is, go for it. But personally, Asian session Monday is not my favorite time. Asian session would usually be Tuesday, not Monday. Monday, you would usually look somewhere maybe in London at the earliest, and at the latest it will be after the New York session, which will be late at night. For example, like this top, you can see this one was at 8 UTC time, and the New York Open, what would it be on the UTC time? Because I look at it at my time, it would be at 14:30. So we got the New York Open right on this low at 92. We pumped up for 6 hours. So 6 hours after the New York Open, you got the top and then the reversal to the downside. So that's usually what you look for on Monday. Same thing right there on this high. Exact same thing. Look when price topped out. So you had the open on the New York Open at 14. You topped out at 16. So usually you look for after the New York Open on Monday. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think we have to cover anything else. I mean, the main coin Solana going lower as expected. Just unfortunate that I got front on. Ethereum as well, we expected lower. We got lower. If you open the short off of the level that we gave weeks ago, that short would still be going extremely strong. So very nice short if anyone caught it. I remember even I updated you inside the Discord to update the altcoins a lot, but you can see that was reshared inside the Discord right before we reach my level. You can see 3,000 to be exact, 3,438. That was before it got reached. Let's go back to the charts. So just so you know, I'm not lying, 3,438. We moved into it and we got a massive rejection to the downside. So very good level on Ethereum. Solana, front on Bitcoin, I opened two shorts and closed them, and this level was predicted on Thursday. So yeah, very happy with the analysis. Can you look at gold and silver? Brother, like, I've been looking at these markets, they make no sense. I have to be honest. I don't think technicals. I mean, I don't know. We still have that target that we had at 110, so around 110. But if you remember, I mean, I expected a wave 4. Oh, my phone. Apologies, guys. So I expected a wave 4. That was wave 1. Wave 2. Where is the wave 4? So I don't know. Could this be a wave 4? I mean, it's always could, but I don't know. I don't think the technicals right now will be too important on silver. I have to be honest. Of course, if we get the rejection, I will just be extremely happy because that was our main that remains our big level to the upside. So if it offers a rejection, I'll be very happy because it's always nice to see your analysis respected. For disclaimers, I don't trade this asset. Okay, I will never short silver. I will never even short a market that looks like that. I think if you jump in a short in front of such a strong moving train, you're just asking to get wrecked. So I would never short this. I am not interested in shorting this. I don't trade this asset. I mainly invested in it down around $28, maybe even lower. I sold some on the first breakout and I'm selling more now. So yeah, for trading perspective, I would just be interested in what happens around this level, but we could literally open late today. When does this open? So yeah, we could literally open tomorrow and gap up above my level. Because what is this? Like, it's just straight up. So I don't have much to say on silver. The only thing that I want to remind you of, I did talk about this before and I still maintain that view. So if this view is correct, silver is not even close to being done. I expect silver and gold to keep on going up until, so as long as Bitcoin keeps going down, which I expect Bitcoin to go down much lower. So if this theory is correct, Bitcoin will be dropping, let's say let's go on another chart. Bitcoin will be dropping for the next, or maybe here we had drawn something. Yeah. So that was drawn a while ago. I expect Bitcoin, let's say, to drop until, I mean, I would give it until honestly summer. So let's say summer. So if Bitcoin still has 5 months to drop, silver and gold, at least in my opinion, still have 5 or more months to pump. But after this, when Bitcoin finds a bottom and then we go back up, that would be your bottom on Bitcoin, which would signal, again, that's just my opinion, but that would signal a top on silver and gold. And again, just in my view, you will see a rotation from the metals into Bitcoin. That's just my view. You don't have to agree. You don't have to disagree. I am just sharing it with you. But that's my view. Can you look? Yeah, the DXY hasn't changed much. Oh, that was a big dump. So ideally, we still go sideways above support, which is what I wanted to see here. So we still go sideways above support and then reverse higher. Could be wrong on this one, but my view again does remain the same. The dollar will reverse higher, whether it's from this support or if we push lower and then reverse higher. I'm seeing so many people call for the end of the dollar. Well, look at where the DXY is. We are at 97. In 2020, the dollar was at 90, at 89 to be exact. In 2008, the dollar was at 70. So is it that bad if we put in a low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and still a higher low? Purely by looking at the charts, that's not even talking about fundamentals, the dollar has no business in being done. In my opinion, you will see another leg to the upside back above 114. To me, that's a given. If I'm wrong, once again, I don't freaking care because I would keep on buying good stocks, good assets, trade Bitcoin. So I couldn't care less if I am wrong, but I would be extremely surprised if the dollar was done here and it just goes lower. To me, that would make no sense. We could, of course, break support and then go back up. I mean, that again, it's not too important, but my overall target on gold, on the dollar, sorry, would be higher. Where's my line? Right there. So yeah, my overall view on the dollar is that it will go higher in the long term. I don't think it really matters what happens in the short term. But just by looking at the charts, I would like this low to hold. That's what I can say just by looking at the technicals. What do you think about the geopolitics? I don't follow the news too much, I have to be honest. I'm not too up to date on what's happening. I'm probably the least up to date guy you can find on the internet. Okay, I mean, we don't predict these moves on Bitcoin because I'm looking at news. It's just the charts are telling you what's gonna happen next. What was the CME gap on BTC again? 89,200 dollars. So you just take the time. It depends on which exchange you're on. On Bybit, you take the close at 9:30. So you can see the time below. 9:30, take this close, the close of this candle, and that would be your CME gap, $89,200. On Binance, for example, it might be a bit higher. So that would be $89,350, but again, it's all in the same region. Pretty much above $89,000. So with that said, let me look at something. Okay. And that is not stopping. Dude, I want a Monday pivot, not a Sunday pivot. Oh man. This high. What a rejection. 4% now. Exactly 4% from my level. But that was a very good long and an extremely good take profit. I will remind you to take profit on my long, $90,850, literally at the high. So very happy with that take profit. And of course, I have been stopped out the rest of the long position at entry, if anyone was wondering. So that said, that should be it for this live stream. If you don't have any more questions, it doesn't seem like we do. Quick recap, we have a very big CME gap to the upside. It's literally getting bigger by the minute. This one will get filled very easily in my opinion, so a move to $89,200. The ideal scenario is that we keep on dumping into tomorrow, into support, we form a Monday pivot low, we bump up, we close the monthly up there, and at this point, if this happens, then of course we can update the bias to see will we break above this high, for example, or will this high be maintained? But for now, that would be the plan. Dump into Monday, form a pivot low. On the other hand, that would be a bit more bearish. However, if we pump, I would potentially be looking at that resistance. Oh, that's where I put it. Okay, that's where I put it. Let me hide this. So on the other hand, if we pump, that's what I will be looking for. A move into resistance and then a reversal to the downside. Ethereum, Solana going lower as expected. Not much to say right there. I would be keeping an eye on this support on Ethereum. And on Solana, I still have that target, which I think is fairly likely at $51. It's a bit far away, but just keep an eye on it. I mean, not keep an eye on it, but keep it in mind for now. Solana is bearish. It will break back below these lows, in my opinion. And with that said, I'm done yapping. Do we have any more questions? Thank you very much. Okay, so we don't have any more questions. So once again, that's it for the live stream. Thank you everyone for the live chats. If you could, of course, leave a like on the live stream, because pretty much everything that we do except for the courses is for free. The Discord is free. The Twitter is free. The trades and the levels that we share are free. We do have an extremely high hit rate. So once again, if you could leave a like on the live stream, that would be very appreciated. And with that said, enjoy the rest of your evening. Chill until tomorrow, guys. You don't have to trade this move. Don't stress yourself over the weekend. Let price action play out. Tomorrow is Monday. We look for the Monday pivot and we take the easy trades. So with that said, enjoy the rest of your evening and I will see you tomorrow morning inside the Discord. So goodbye.